The frames are on the wall and all that's left to do is add some colour in the garden. We've completed the frames on the wall and they're looking gorgeous, but unfortunately below them are 5 lonely roses. Now in that area you can't actually plant any more roses because of the eventual height that they're going to get. But you can always cover the ground. And like I always say, it's really important you either cover the ground with mulch or you use plants to cover that area, because that's going to protect the roses, keep enough moisture in the ground, which is what they want, and stop them from stressing out. So I've got a great combination here of great companion plants for roses. Let's go through them. I've got this little oakie here. This is called an Asti, like an aster family, nice and compact, little balls with beautiful little double mauve flowers. Great for the sun. This can grow on the coast right up to where it gets really, really cold. And this guy, you're probably thinking, Tanya, what on earth are you doing with this thing in the sun? Well, this is impatiens, but it's called a sun patience, grown to perform in the full blazing sun. So for a burst of colour, ask for sun patience. And then one of my favourite plants, which mind you would also do really well in one of those containers in the frames. This is called Scaviola. You get it in white and you get it in a beautiful mauve. Low ground cover. As it starts growing, if it was in the container, these little leaves would just start cascading down along the ground, just creeps across the ground, will get about 40 centimetres in width. Lovely, lovely, tough, enjoys the hot sun and can also cope with a bit of frost. And then there's this beauty, the butterfly plant. I mean, look at this. This is called Gora or Gaura, depending on how you pronounce it. This one is called African pink. Got a lovely fleck of pink, beautiful amongst roses, and a great companion plant. If you've got them at home and they're just taking over, don't be scared to prune it back. You can prune this guy back really hard because you see in the middle, there's all the new foliage that's coming through. And finally, for a bit of grey, just to lift it, I've got this wonderful plant. It's called Stachys, lamb's ears. We know why it's called lamb's ears, because it's so soft and gentle. Beautiful to have the grey just amongst these colours, just to lift it. Right, time for planting, folks. I've got my compost, I've got my bone meal. Put a bit of compost in the hole, a bit of compost in the soil that we removed. And then I'm going to put my first little Asti in. Remember, if it's in a pot, all you got to do, squeeze the pot. It's the one, grab it like that, turn it upside down, and out it comes. Handful of bone meal, the bottom of the hole, and in you go, baby. These plants are just going to love it here because it's sunny, it's got a good soil and a good grounding. And remember, to make roses successful and to keep them looking good, they need loads of food and they need loads of water. That is what's most important. This week's question comes from Dave, who lives in George, and he wants to know, what can I do to make sure that my roses are looking gorgeous and I get loads of flowers? Well, there's a very simple solution. Roses need loads of sun. And when I mean loads of sun, a minimum of 5 hours sunlight a day. If you don't have that in and around your garden, don't even attempt to grow any roses. That's the first rule. The second rule is roses enjoy lots and lots of water. So you've got to make sure that during the dry periods or extreme heat that you're giving them a good watering every second or third day, and rather give them a deep watering, good few litres, to make sure that the water gets right down into the root zone so that they can remain there. The other important thing, of course, is about the mulching. Either use the peanut shells, grass clippings, or plants that you can put around your rose bushes. And finally, very, very important, is food. There are many, many rose products on the market, many different products that you can use to feed your roses, from organic options like this, which is Sudden Impact for Roses, Vigor Rosa, 815 or 515. They're all good and they all do the job, depending on if you're wanting organic or chemical options. Whatever it is and whatever the container says, follow the instructions. If you do that and the other things that I just mentioned, I guarantee, Dave, that you'll have gorgeous looking roses. So there you have it, folks. As easy as 1, 2, 3, from drab walls to gardening up walls. We took a really sad rose garden. It had 5 roses in it, gave it a bit of an uplift, planted in some beautiful perennials all around it, and made it look truly like a welcoming part of the garden. And of course, the main feature, the big guy in all of this, were the 3 concrete frames that we created from simply using a bit of cement, adding a bit of water, creating the frames, and look what we had. To just brighten the whole thing up, a few red hot chilies, absolutely. And these guys, of course, are going to love growing in the sun, like roses do. And all in all, I think it turned out really well. I hope that you've been inspired to garden up walls, not only just garden in the ground. Till next time, take care of you and yours, and most importantly, happy gardening.
Make 15% more concrete from every bag. The Gardener is brought to you by PPC.